I will be presenting SB 41. And this act creates the Christian Taylor Ferguson Medical Alert System to aid in identifying and locating a missing endangered person, defined as a person including a child who is missing under unexplained, involuntary, and suspicious circumstances, and who is believed to be in danger because of a medical condition that requires immediate care, medication, or treatment. The CTF medical alert system shall be set up and maintained in a manner similar to the Amber Alert system. The Department of Public Safety shall develop regions to provide the system and to coordinate local law enforcement agencies and public commercial television and radio broadcasters. The department shall also administer and promulgate rules to implement the provisions of this act. I do have Christian Taylor Ferguson's mother here who asked for this bill to be filed, and she can talk more on the bill and I'll answer any questions.
Any questions for the senator? Seeing none. Anybody here to testify in favor of the bill? Go ahead and come on up. Please fill out a witness form if you haven't already. Thank you for our records. And proceed when you're ready.
Greetings. I'm Theda Roxanne Wilson, the mother of missing murdered Christian Ferguson. This is a picture of my son. And a lot of people didn't know that when my son went missing that it really was him because of the circumstances. They remembered him walking and talking and moving like a typical child, even though he had a life-threatening disorder called citrullinemia. So if he could not get his medication within 24 to 48 hours, he could die. And that's the reason why this bill is imperative. A lot of times when people post or share persons that are missing, and even if you see the Amber Alert, which is a very wonderful alert because it helped in my situation to some degree. Situations like that, they really need the attention that they deserve. So like if my son needs his medication within 24 hours, he doesn't have time to go through the typical protocols that law enforcement may go through if they're in office. If they're not in office, then you have to wait till Monday when the missing person is in at the highway patrol or at law enforcement so that they can make the flyers and things like that. And you don't have that kind of time to waste when you have a person with a life-threatening condition. Even if a person who had something other than citrullinemia, because that's what my son had. But if, let's say the person was on dialysis and you knew that they were supposed to be at their appointment or certain things would happen in a critical situation if they didn't have whatever they needed to survive, it's just really like a no-brainer bill to me. And sometimes, like even with the Amber Alert, the police have a lot of discretion, to determine whether or not they want to call it an Amber Alert. But with the CTF alerts, you won't have that kind of discretion. Not saying that they're not important, because they are number one. They're very important. We need law enforcement and we need them to get this information out, a CTF a medical alert out in a situation like what happened to my son, because we didn't have time to go to the courts and determine all of these other things and wait on law enforcement to act. We needed them to act immediately. So if a CTF alert was to go out, then it would hit everywhere it needs to hit, even through the phones. I know I get alerts when a person is missing in my area through Verizon, and I think other phone systems can do that as well. But just being a mother and knowing that there are other mothers and fathers and individuals with other people who have life-threatening disorders, I just speak on their behalf, on my son's behalf, on my behalf, because I could go missing and know I don't have a situation. I'm a carrier of citrullinemia, but I don't have it like my child had citrullinemia. So he basically could not break down proteins because he lacked arginine, which is part of a metabolic cycle that the body goes through. So, I just need this bill to pass because, of course, it's important to me. Of course, it's in my son's name, but the people, there's a lot of people that I serve even through my organizational capacity, looking for an angel, that have serious situations. And when I've done different events, even in local, in St. Louis, Missouri, some of the children who have trachs or some of them in wheelchairs, and it's like if they went missing, their parents were there to speak out on their behalf, when we were just trying to help people to understand why it's important for an alert such as the CTF alert to become a reality.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Senator Weber, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, and I just want to say, I'm sure that going through that has been tough, and I really respect that you've not let go of this and that you've honored your son's memory. And I think you're doing right by him, and I just want to thank you for continuing to do this in his memory. So thank you.
Thank you, and I'm glad you're better. I was under the weather last week myself, but you are essential. Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.